Good morning, crew. It's the 22nd of March, and a little pressed on time this morning, so I'm making this video while I make breakfast. I had a great day yesterday, and let's see, we started out, we had a pretty leisurely morning, normal walk with the neighbors, and then we started doing some work around the house, and I'll cut in some footage here, which I will take in a little bit. Sarah continued to work on patching the plaster, and I actually finally got up the guts to pull down one of the chandeliers, and so the one up in our bedroom was this hideous plastic and faux crystal number, and John, the guy who we walk with, Brad's buddy, he had given us a couple little brass chandeliers that we're going to replace in a couple of bedrooms. So I actually took down the disgusting one, and I actually hung up the brass one, and it's all ready to go. I just haven't connected the wires. I didn't get I got these little snap connectors for the wires, which I decided to use. I looked online, and I don't know, looked easy and neat in that little tiny space. So yeah, I'm going to try to do that this morning, but like I said, I'm a little pressed for time. Yeah, that was one thing. Then in the afternoon, we went to Daganwy to visit Margaret and speak Welsh. And it was interesting. Sarah didn't sleep well last night, or night before last. And so she was really tired, and we're driving over to Daganwy, and she was like, "Oh, I'm just exhausted. I'm not sure how this is going to go." And we got there, and I also, the last couple days of the fast, I hadn't had time, or I hadn't had the energy to do a Welsh lesson. So I hadn't really practiced the Welsh other than doing Duolingo for the last 3 days. And so I was thinking, this is going to be kind of a bust, maybe, going to talk with Margaret, and she's not, Sarah's not sharp, and I haven't practiced, so I'm probably just had really low expectations. It did take Sarah a little bit to warm up, and at some point Sarah went off to Cymraeg, as they say here, the sixth place, and I told Margaret that Sarah was really tired. She hadn't slept well, and Margaret said, I could tell early on that she was not as sharp as she often is. But then I actually was speaking with Margaret in Welsh more than I ever have. And it's funny because I sat there while they were talking, and I was sort of strategizing in my head things to say to her, and then I managed to get that opportunity when Sarah went to the bathroom, and it was weird because we came out of there, and Margaret is so great. Like I said, she is so patient. It's amazing. As Sarah said, the number of people who have really helped her with her Welsh is just really wonderful. Anyway, we came out of there, and then Sarah and I, we were like, let's go to the hardware store here in town, and Sturmat, as the place is called, and see if we can pick up. Sarah needed a little bit extra plaster, and I needed the connectors. And I was like talking with Sarah in Welsh the whole time. And so I was like, oiti isha buita pesca I esclodion. It was like all of a sudden I like had this, I remembered how to say things that I've been listening to for the last few months. And Sarah and I were just talking in Welsh. Brief conversations, but it was like a real change for me. So that was exciting. I'm actually really excited about that because I kind of felt like I'm at a plateau. So that was cool. Then in the evening, I did manage to get the connectors I needed, but I didn't get to put them in with that light fixture. But in the evening, I went to the Carnarvon football match, and I met Emmer and Sue there. Sue is the woman with season tickets to Wrexham, and so went to the match. And so Carnarvon in the league right now, the way the Welsh Premier League works, the first half of the season everybody plays each other in a round robin, and then they split into a top half of the table and a bottom half of the table, and they play the second half of the season just against those teams, and the sort of prize at the end of the season is you qualify for European competition. So I think the top two teams automatically qualify, and then there's a playoff, or maybe it's the top team automatically qualifies, and then there's a Welsh Cup, and the winner of the Welsh Cup automatically qualifies, and then there's a playoff for the last, European spot. So Carnarvon's right in there for a playoff for the last European spot, which is what they did last year when they actually got to go to Europe. And this game was their derby against Bala, and Bala is the worst team in the top half of the table, and it was a tight affair early on. Carnarvon scored a goal in the first half off of a corner kick, and it was just a sloppy goal where it kind of bounced around in the box and didn't get cleared. Honestly, the Bala goalkeeper was pretty weak. And so in the second half, Carnarvon just dominated. They scored 4 more goals, and it was kind of cool because there were these 3 German guys sitting behind us, and Emmer, of course, who talks to everyone, turned around, started talking to them, and asked them why they were there and what was going on. So they are on a football holiday from Germany, and they flew into Liverpool yesterday, came to Carnarvon just to see this match, which is kind of crazy. And I was like, why would you come to Carnarvon for football? And they said, well, we wanted to go to the Wrexham match tomorrow, meaning when I'm making this video. And so they were looking for a good match on Friday evening, and they decided Carnarvon was relatively close and they could drive out here and it looked like an interesting place. And so they were super excited about the match, which also makes it, super fun. And then during halftime, one of our neighbors, Anthony, who lives across the street in one of the apartments, he was at our house for for Guy Fawkes Day last fall, and I saw him, so I popped down to see him, and he's like old time Carnarvon, like involved in kind of, as he said, the seedy underbelly of Carnarvon, and he was like, oh, you got to go in the shed with us, and basically it's the standing space behind the goal, and they always stand behind the opponent's goalkeeper and give him hell. And so I've got some video clips of them down there. But I was with Emmer and Sue, so I didn't go down there. But he messaged afterwards and he said, next time come down in the shed with us. And so I was like, okay. So maybe next time I'll do that. So yeah, got home late last night. Had my latest night since we've been here. But up and at it this morning. We got a busy day planned, but I will tell you about that tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm gonna just show you this beautiful view I have out the window here, because the rain came in also yesterday evening, so it was raining at the match. But that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Talk to you later.